Call the meeting to order, and I'll ask Commissioner Foy to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to start tonight by, I don't know if everybody knows that we lost one of our fellow commissioners, former Commissioner Danny Pierce, this weekend. And we do have a resolution that I will read out for him, if y'all will bear with me. Whereas the Board of Commissioners for the County of Franklin and citizens are saddened by the passing of dedicated public service servant Danny Pierce, former Franklin County Commissioner, and whereas Danny Pierce served as the Franklin County Commissioner from December 2020 to November 2024, as well as county boards and commissions, including the Public Utilities Advisory Committee and Economic Development Commission. And whereas Danny Pierce was an active member of the Animal Services Advisory Board and championed the welfare of animals, most notably for his involvement with the pilot dog park project, which was opened in March the 20th of 2025. And whereas Danny Pierce exemplified a concern for the citizens of Franklin County and for improvement in the quality of life for all citizens, and carried out his responsibilities as a public servant with the zeal to an optimism for which he will be remembered. And whereas Franklin County and its people have benefited from Danny's knowledge, leadership, and concern for his fellow citizens, and his contributions will forever serve as an example of untiring and dedicated public service. And therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners for the County of Franklin hereby expresses on behalf of the citizens of Franklin County deep appreciation and gratitude for the gifts of time, ability, and commitment given by Danny Pierce in carrying out the duties of this board, and takes pride in honoring the service of Danny Pierce and expresses an appreciation for the many contributions to Franklin County, and hereby expresses its sympathy to the members of the family of Danny Pierce and its gratitude to those family members for having shared so much of his life with and for the benefit of the people of Franklin County. Further, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution is forwarded to the family of Danny Pierce with the expressed sympathy of the members of this board. Adopted this the 4th day of May 2026. Okay.
I so move.
Second.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Let's move on to the special recognition of a Governor's Volunteer Service Awards recipients. And I think Charles Mitchell is going to do that for us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for having me tonight to recognize these special individuals. Just to give you a little information about this award program was created by the Office of the Governor in 1979, recognizes North Carolina's most dedicated volunteers. Through the years, the award has been bestowed on thousands of North Carolinians who have shown concern and compassion for their neighbors by volunteering in their community. Each county selects up to 10 individuals, businesses, groups, teams, and one paid director of volunteers to be recognized for their outstanding contributions to their communities. One of the nominees will be nominated for the Governor's Medallion Award for volunteer service. which is awarded to the top 20 to 25 volunteers in the state. So I will let you know that we will be recognizing a medallion award winner tonight as well. So, but tonight we recognize 3 distinguished individuals. And in lieu of that recognition, I ran across a quote about volunteers, a quote that Maya Angelou wrote. It says, "I've learned that you shouldn't go through life without a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back." These 3 individuals have thrown something back and have made a difference in their communities and in the lives, in lives of others in their communities. So we appreciate what they have done. So what I'll do, I'll share some words that their nominators shared about them when they nominated them. And then I'll ask them to come up. I have a certificate for them as well as a pen from the governor's office. So our first recipient tonight is Joni McPethridge. Joni has a heart for the community and has built a local food pantry named Sowing Seeds from a simple backyard distribution area to outgrowing a small building by serving over 36,000 people in 2025 at the pantry, including starting a mobile food pantry that goes into neighborhoods that don't have access to healthy food choices. In addition, she helps with homeless communities in Raleigh, as well as helping families that have been hit with natural disasters resulting in homelessness. And she has built a wide network of volunteers, not only in her county, but in the surrounding counties. At this time, I'd like to recognize Joni, if she'd come up, her certificate and pen.
Joni is well deserving. I've been to her operation and it's amazing.
All right. Congratulations again, Joni. Our second recipient tonight is Mr. Daniel Erb. Captain Daniel Erb exemplifies outstanding volunteer leadership as squadron commander of the Civil Air Patrol Franklin County Unit, a vital component of the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary. Having himself started volunteering as a cadet in 2011, he now is leading an all-volunteer organization of 80 members, 48 cadets, and 32 adults. Daniel has demonstrated exceptional commitment to service and youth development. Under his guidance, the squadron achieved measurable growth with an 8.89% increase in cadet membership and 3.33% in adult membership over the past year. Daniel's impact extends beyond the cadet programs. He actively supports the Civil Air Patrol's emergency services mission, personally leading and participating in search and rescue operations across North Carolina, including missions in Lee County for an active emergency locator transmitter. His leadership at Civil Air Patrol encampments and Ranger training weekends equips members from Franklin County and beyond with critical skills for disaster response and homeland security. Through his vision, integrity, and tireless volunteerism, Daniel has strengthened community resilience, inspired youth, and advanced Civil Air Patrol's mission of volunteers serving America's communities, saving lives and shaping futures. His dedication and ability to motivate others make him an exemplary candidate for this prestigious award. Daniel could not be with us tonight, but next week I will present his award to him at the Civil Air Patrol meeting next Monday night. But we do have someone on his behalf tonight, I believe in the audience, Gene George. Is Gene with us tonight? I don't think Gene made it tonight. All right. Well, we will present his award to him next week in person at their meeting. So once again, congratulations, Daniel Erb, for this prestigious award. All right. And our last award is also our medallion winner, award winner. So this individual will go next Monday night to the Capitol building to receive the medallion from the governor's office, as well as an additional plaque and certificate. The individual receiving this award tonight, next week, is Ms. Beverly Kegler. Her nominator shared this information about Beverly. Beverly is an extraordinary community servant whose tireless work, leadership, and ability to serve with passion have made a profound and lasting impact on Franklin County and the surrounding region. As the co-founder and current co-chair of the Franklin County Interfaith Council, Beverly dedicates 4 to 5 days each week, contributing more than 1,500 volunteer hours annually. She also writes the grants that sustain the Franklin County Interfaith Food Council, ensuring vital programs continue supporting neighbors in need, particularly in the areas of health, hunger, housing, and hope. Beverly serves as the chair of the Town of Lewisburg Committee for Affordable Housing and Homelessness, where she works diligently to address critical challenges facing vulnerable families. She is also an active member of the statewide faith-based Down Home Committee, collaborating with leaders across North Carolina to strengthen community support and advance equity. Beverly's history of service stretches across many years in many areas of community life. She has supported the Franklin County Library Quiz Bowl, served on the board of the North Carolina Free and Affordable Clinics, and helped establish free clinics in both Warren and Nash counties. She also currently serves on the board of Franklin County Partners in Health, contributing her insight and leadership to local health initiatives. She's equally dedicated to her faith community. As an active member of St. Matthias Episcopal Church, Beverly has represented her congregation at the Episcopal Diocese of North Carolina Convention for the last 2 years. She brings integrity, humility, and compassion to every aspect of her service, whether in the church or the broader community. Beverly leads by example. She inspires others, builds meaningful partnerships, and responds to community needs with courage, conviction, and a genuine heart of service. She truly serves with passion, and our community is stronger because of her. It's my honor to recognize Ms. Beverly Kegley.
I bet you're all ready to see me come up to this microphone. But tonight I'm sort of speechless, so I will just say thank you. Thank you to Franklin County, my adopted home. Saturday, we celebrated my real home, which is Kentucky, but Franklin County means the world to me. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Let's all, if the winners of the awards and the commissioners go out front, we're going to do pictures.
Yeah.
Okay?
You
It's the real one.
Yeah.
Where is?
I don't know. I put mine.
What about what
It's supposed to be here. Combination.
Absolutely.
Winner. I don't need to see anything else.
That's
Where's that state? Oh, 0. Got it.
Oh, you did?
Looking at that. You were looking at, we were.
Okay, it's time for us to have comments from the public. This is a time set aside by the Board of Commissioners to allow individuals 5 minutes each to address the board on issues concerning the county. The total time set aside for public comments is 30 minutes. So we will start out with Scott Strickland.
I'd like to start out today, a lot of things going on in the county. Go back to 2003, remember, old Ann Mary, a little good news today. But I've been blessed over the past couple of months here in Franklin County. We had the opportunity to open up the garden center at Bunsert, put on a little show over there. We didn't advertise that we were cooking chickens, but we had a great day out there cooking chickens. We started out with 5 cases and only carried home 2, but I give them away to the homeless people. And 60 chickens ain't much, but it helped feed 60 of them homeless people we have in Franklin County. We were blessed, the people coming up. We got several new members to our team, being out there, and Miss Kathy, the manager of Walmart, she's already called, won't know when we can come back again. Because when we're out there, that's helping them, and it's also helping us show the community our support of what we do, doing in the community. And the past weekend, we also teamed up with the Red Cross. So we have got people that's certified now to go out to house fires and be able to help them in the time of their need also. We spent six hours in a classroom, and it was long and hard Saturday, but we did it. And we also had to split our group up because we have an event going on at Freedom Farms. So we kind of had to say, all right, well, we're going to do this again. We'll get you in disco. So it works out. We got a lot of stuff on the list to do, and we appreciate you guys, the commissioners, are being supportive of us and giving us the strength to do what we do. We've got, like I said, got a bunch of events coming up in Franklin that's coming up pretty soon. Some here in Lewisburg, and we're just excited. Words just can't express the gratitude that we're getting from the community. Oh, we didn't know you were there. So we're great. Like I said, we're gaining more people, and the little place I got now, we're probably going to have to move somewhere bigger to meet because I just ain't got room for everybody. But that's the great thing about it. The other thing, when we're talking about our MOU, and we want to find out where we're staying with that. We're raising money to do what we need to do, and if it comes down that we can't get anything from Franklin County to do it, at least give us a chance by giving us the signature that we need to do it. I just know in my heart that we can raise the money by doing fundraising. I seen that last weekend, and with the weekend before. We got 80% of the equipment that we need already, and we're working on the other stuff, which we hadn't seen an itemized list. We're only going off of what the state hey, give us, we don't know what's gonna be required by the county to have. We're just going off what the state list is telling us we have to do what we're gonna do. So we could get a list of that, that would help us as people donate stuff. Hey, yeah, that's great. You know, that's what we needed to finish our list. But anything we can do, I'm just asking if we can meet again. Ryan, if we can set up a meeting, and let's go back to the table and talk about some things. But we're happy to do what we're doing and just glad to be here to do. I got some husband and wife team have teamed up to help us do stuff. So it's just, and the more you do, the more people see, the bigger it gets. And I'm just excited about it. We're kind of down to on training a little bit because Steve Barney has left Vance Scramble, which does all the setting up training. So we're waiting on a new commander there to go in the director there and see to be able to schedule classes. They're still scheduling, but they're harder to do. But we do have a Franklin County native that is an assistant to that director that's going to come in, which is Michelle Patterson Jones. So that's a good thing. So we have a contact here in Franklin County that we can talk to. But thank y'all for all you do, and I hope y'all have a great one. And I was saddened to hear about Danny. Danny was a good supporter of ours also. Danny did what he could when he could, and he's been a lifelong friend. So thank you.
Harriet, and I don't want to mess up your last name, Harriet.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Harriet Pavone Rosado. I'm from Franklinton, North Carolina, 115 Emerald Forest Drive, Franklinton, North Carolina, 27525. I'm here tonight as a concerned Franklin County citizen, Down Home, North Carolina team member, and Franklin County Public Schools strong leader. My why for being active in both organizations is to learn firsthand how local government works, so that I can take information back to my family, friends, local community, churches, classroom. As I sat in the April 2026 County Commissioners meeting here in Lewisburg, my mind kept going back to closing remarks made by Commissioner Schreiber. I heard terms such as transparency, quagmire, trust, speculation, public trust, and social media. I know it as information technology, as I've always been told. Also, I heard Commissioner Schreiber say, and I quote this, I went back and listened to this about 3-4 times a day. I try not to believe, this is the quote, I try not to believe anything I do not see with my 2 eyes, end of quote. I thank God personally for social media, iPhones, and information technology. It's not the tool that causes the concern. It is the person or group inputting the information or lack of. I see iPhones as an equalizer. It allows all people to access and fact check information from any corner of the globe. As an instructor, I tell my students that there is no excuse for ignorance in today's society or global economy if the playing field is adequate. In addition, I heard remarks at the April meeting about the enormous jobs as paid elected county officials have to undertake, and I thank you. We thank you. We were told to trust leadership and the people who are elected to serve. However, SB 214, Section 5, pulled the veil from many citizens' eyes. How is going into neighboring counties, predominantly Black, Native American communities, and taking control of their water and land, condemning? Is that speculation? Even though Section 5 was not passed, it was an overreach that left an indelible stain on our county. As a citizen of Franklin County who had worked in Halifax County for 14 years, I was disappointed, angry, and embarrassed. We have been plastered all over the nation as a county that cannot be trusted, lacks integrity, and possibly aborted public trust. How did this SB 214, Section 5, quagmire come about. Thank you.
Our next person is Darren Wilder.
Hello, my name is Darren Wilder, and I reside at 32 Wild Acres Drive, Franklinton. Last month, I spoke before you about the dumpster fire of your making. Over the past weeks, this dumpster fire has spread across neighboring counties, as well as major news outlets and publications. I first learned of this after the Army Corps of Engineers meeting in Warren County, the meeting that enraged citizens while you failed to defend your water request. I'm saying you and your because residents in this county were not aware of your actions, and this was not discussed in meetings. It was reported that 3 commissioners were in attendance that night: Bragg, Shriver, and Speed. I can confirm that Bragg was present, as she was front and center in one of the photographs in the article. When later asked whether it was morally right to bypass county commissioners' consent, Chairwoman Bragg said she did not know anything about it. Let that sink in. The chairwoman of the county this was written for did not know her actions were out of process and bypassed consent of the targeted county. This is a colossal failure in leadership and representation of her duties for our county. But let's continue. In the weeks that have followed, Commissioner Speed denounced Senate Bill 214, stating the bill took on a quite different meaning from his understanding. Then from his press release, Representative Matthew Winslow stated that he was just following the request of this board. He took no responsibility and put it all on you, and didn't even mention the request was deceptive and unconstitutional. County Manager Ryan Preble released a statement that basically read to me, "We did what we did because they wouldn't give us what we wanted." That is a faux pas that will surely follow him the rest of his career. As for the rest of the board, Logan Davis and Stuart May have not been commissioners very long, and I'm on the fence about Harry because he has been around a long time. But let us stick to the issue of leadership, as David Bunn and Michael Shriver were both previous chairs and should be held just as accountable as Bragg. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Granville Commissioner Timothy Karen addresses regional partnership failures during Senate Bill 214 emergency meeting. Coran slams Franklin County over Triangle North Executive Airport and community college funding gaps. Are we no longer partnering in these regional partnerships? Are we not paying our bills? There is also an article warning Halifax, Vance, and Warren counties to remain vigilant because there is an expected repeat attempt from this board. The answer to this is infrastructure. The county has had water issues most of my life, and no steps have been significantly taken to address it. I realize the expense, but after several decades of Band-Aids and begging from others, why would anyone want to help us? The time for grace has passed. We need short and long-term plans in our toolbox, or we will not be able to support any amount of growth. In my 40-plus years of experience in construction, roadways, and telecommunications, I learned that the key to success is the proper planning and building of infrastructure. Without it, you are already setting yourself up to fail. $20,000 a month for a lobbyist. Franklin County is the highest paying county for a lobbyist in the state. We have spent $1 million almost thus far. That is a lot of money that could have been better used for planning. Aren't you tired of tricks and deception?
Up next is Michelle Strong.
Good evening. Michelle D. Strong, 120 Sledge Farm Drive, Spring Hope. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Well, maybe not sweet. The school board just approved the new school budget. Now the decision is in your hands. Please honor your word and support and approve this budget. Our future depends on it. I'm sure I don't have to stand here and go into detail about why our future depends on it. Obviously, we're talking about our children here. But I will just say this. Passing that budget is critically important. Now is your time to show the community that you care about the community. Some will try to convince you that Franklin County schools are failing. But as a parent with a child in Franklin County schools right now, I can assure you that that is not the case. There is an urgent need for more and better resources in our schools, particularly for children with special needs. Teachers deserve better pay, and I'm sure you all agree with that, or at least I hope you do. And they deserve better pay because they make our children their priorities each and every day. Maintaining the buildings that house our children for several hours a day are in dire need of attention and care. So, again, I urge you to support and approve the school budget this year. The people who voted for you and put you in those seats that you sit in, they need you. They need you to support this budget. They need you to show the community that you care and that you will make our children the priority. Thank you.
Our last person is Kimberly. Say your last name when you get up here, please. Skip one. Oh, I'm sorry. I did skip one. We'll go back. Come on, come on. I'm sorry. You're exactly right.
Hi, I am Kimberly Galusha. I live at 1134 MC Wilder Road, and I'm here speaking on behalf of the residents regarding the proposed activities at Triangle North Executive Airport. I want to begin by stating clearly that this is not opposition to responsible development. What we are requesting is a complete environmental review, transparency, and meaningful public involvement before decisions are finalized. Over the past months, residents have made repeated efforts to engage through emails, public comment, direct outreach. Despite those efforts, there remains a lack of accessible information for the public regarding the current stage of review, what impacts are being evaluated, and how community input is being incorporated into decision-making processes. We understand that this project is being advanced by the NCDOT. However, that does not reduce the importance of local transparency, early public involvement, while environmental review is still ongoing, and not after decisions are finalized. Residents are requesting 3 reasonable actions. First, a comprehensive impact study that evaluates noise, accumulative impacts, public health, and property values. Second, baseline groundwater testing in the surrounding residential area, particularly private wells. Many residents rely on groundwater as their drinking source. Without baseline data collected prior to project start, there's no reliable way to evaluate future changes or determine accountability if impacts are identified later. Third, a formal public hearing so that public input can be incorporated into official record while decisions are being evaluated, not after conclusions have been already made. Residents are not asking for assumptions or conclusions. We are asking for a complete evaluation before conclusions are finalized and documented in the record. We are also requesting clarity on how residents can ensure that this issue is formally placed on the Board of Commissioners' agenda in a timely and structured way. At present, there is no clear, defined public process communicated for how concerns are elevated, documented, and formally considered at county level. Finally, if an increase in airport activities or expansion is being considered in areas that affect groundwater resources, then monitoring, mitigation, planning, and contingency measures should be incorporated at the onset of the process, not developed after potential impacts occur. This is essential to ensure long-term protection of community drinking water resources. In closing, residents are respectfully requesting that these steps, a comprehensive impact study, baseline groundwater testing, and a formal public hearing. This is about ensuring decisions affecting long-term public health, water resources, and the quality of life are fully informed, properly documented, and made with meaningful public involvement. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. And last, I'm sorry I skipped over Michael Downing. I'm sorry. Michael?
Didn't sign up to speak.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
All right. So I didn't skip anybody. Thank you for saving me, Michael. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. And before we start that, I have two proclamations to read that are on the consent agenda. And I'll start with the National Small Business Week proclamation. Whereas Franklin County, North Carolina joins communities across the nation in recognizing National Small Business Week, a time to honor the critical role of small businesses and in entrepreneurs in driving economic growth and innovation. And whereas small businesses defined by the U.S. Small Business Administration is independently owned businesses with fewer than 500 employees are the foundation of our economy, creating jobs and strengthening communities. And whereas in North Carolina, small businesses represent 99.6% of all businesses and employ approximately 1.8 million individuals across a wide range of industries. And whereas in Franklin County, small businesses make up 99.5% of all businesses with approximately 1,738, sorry about that, establishments employing over 12,300 individuals and contributing more than 176 million in wages to local economy. And whereas Over the past 25 years, small businesses have created nearly 2/3 of all the new jobs nationwide, continuing to power both local and national economic growth. And whereas small businesses in North Carolina contribute to the state's global competitiveness, exploiting billions of dollars in goods each year. And whereas Franklin County proudly recognizes the determination, creativity, and resilience of its small business owners and entrepreneurs whose hard work and vision strengthens our economy and shapes the character of our community. Now, therefore, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week in Franklin County, North Carolina, and encourages all residents to support, celebrate, and recognize the vital contributions of small businesses throughout our community. Adopted this 4th day of May 2026. And the second resolution I wanted to read is the Older Americans Month. May is Older Americans Month, and when I was director of the Department of Aging, I always stood in front of the commissioners for many, many years and read this resolution. So I thought it was on the agenda tonight, so it should be read. And we also know that the older adult population is our largest age group of people. So we have a lot of older adults in this county and all over the nation. So just think about that's our largest age group. So Older Americans Month proclamation. Whereas Franklin County is home to over 20,000 citizens ages 60 and older. And whereas Franklin County is committed to valuing all individuals and recognizing their ongoing life achievements. And whereas the older citizens in Franklin County are vital to the framework of our community as they contribute their wisdom, share past experiences, reminisce about the history of the county, and help mold the direction of Franklin County. And whereas our older community members remain active through employment, volunteerism, mentorship, arts and culture, and civic engagement. And whereas recognizing the successes of our older adults in the community helps to foster an interactive environment and supports further accomplishments. And whereas our community can provide opportunities to allow older adults to continue to flourish by emphasizing the importance of older citizens and their leadership through public recognition of their achievements, presenting opportunities for older citizens to share in their wisdom, experience, and skills, recognizing older citizens for their contribution in making America's communities strong. Now, therefore, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2026 to be Older Americans Month. We urge every citizen to take time this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful and vital citizens who greatly contribute to the community. Proclaim this 4th day of May 2026.
I'd like to move that we approve the, okay, go ahead.
Okay, Matt, would you like to do, where's Matt? Would you like to do the proclamation for EMS week?
Thank you, Commissioners. Emergency Medical Services Week will be May 17th through the 23rd. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill the gap of providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency medical technicians, paramedics, community paramedics, first responders, firefighters, law enforcement, emergency medical dispatchers, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, educators, and administrators. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas Franklin County remains committed to the integration of cutting-edge technology and clinical advancements, ensuring our emergency medical services teams are equipped with the latest diagnostic tools and evidence-based treatments to significantly improve patient outcomes and provide superior training opportunities for the next generation of lifesavers. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. And whereas the 2026 theme, Improving Outcomes Together, underscores the collaborative effort between clinical professionals and the community to ensure the best possible care for every patient in Franklin County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as Emergency Medical Services Week in Franklin County, and encourages the community to observe this week with the appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, and to recognize the dedication of those who provide the front line of healthcare in our community. Proclaimed this the 4th day of May 2026.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda is to finish our consent agenda, and you have that in front of you, each of you. Do you have any questions on it?
I have one
Okay.
on the proclamation that was just read out on emergency medical services. Does this include our 2 CERT teams too?
No, just EMS.
I think it's just EMS.
EMS, not CERT.
It's
They're two
not
totally different
CERT,
things.
yeah,
Okay.
it's EMS
Okay,
proclamation.
just EMS,
Yes.
but no CERT teams.
They don't have haven't put a proclamation.
Okay,
Out
well,
for CERT
that was
in front
my
of us.
question.
Okay.
You answered it.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
Motion approved.
And second, and everyone in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. Okay, at this time, if we can have Barbara, is she here?
She's in the back.
Oh, there she is. Okay. This is on the incentive for the Project AIR.
Yes, good evening. So I'd like to present to you all the confidential Project AIR expansion project for consideration for an economic development performance grant incentive. It is an existing company here in Franklin County. It is a manufacturer. They are planning to construct a 290,000 square foot building for light manufacturing, warehousing, office, and a little bit of distribution of their product. Phase 1 will consist of constructing originally the 200,000 square foot building, and phase 2 will add on another 90,000 square feet to that existing building. Their total capital investment will be $29,307,000, and they are planning to add Total capital investment, $29,307,000 by December 31st, 2027. They're going to be creating approximately they're committed to 43 full-time jobs by December 31st, 2030, with an average annual salary of $53,209. So I'm requesting, please, the Franklin County UL Board of Commissioners to approve the Economic Development Performance Grant, which is 3% incentive equaling $15,445, paid over a 5-year period in equal installment payments of $3,089 once all performance goals have been met, with the first payment anticipated in 2030. Also requesting approval for authorization of the county manager to sign all required documents.
Okay. At this time, we'll have a public hearing regarding this project. And do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, at this time, do we have anyone here that would like to speak on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second, all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I have a question, if I may.
Okay.
Is this the same thing as Captive Air? Or is that a separate company? It is.
It is Captain.
Okay. I just couldn't help, maybe my math is wrong, but you're taking 29,307,000. 3% of that would be more than just 15,000, but maybe I'm missing the math somewhere.
That is what the calculations originally came out to.
On that much. Right.
That's all there, yes.
Any other questions? If not, would someone make a motion to approve this incentive amount of $15,445? And a second?
Madam Chairman,
I'm sorry.
I'd like to pause because I've just done the math, and no offense, Barbara, and some of the other ones have, and mine comes out. So can you tell us how you get the 15,445? And with all due respect, but I just want to be sure we're clear before we take this action.
Those were the figures that we came out with when we originally did this calculation back in November.
So is the incentive 3% of 29,307,000?
It's a lot more.
3% is of the ad valorem.
Ad valorem tax, not the value, not the
Correct.
investment.
It's
So
of the
this
ad
is
valorem.
3% of whatever the ad valorem tax would be.
Or
For
the
5
tax
years.
bill. Yeah.
The tax bill.
Tax
Okay,
bill.
that makes much more
Okay,
much more sense.
that was my.
And while you're up there, can you just give a little bit of insight into the parent company, just so that for all the people that are sitting here and, you know,
It's rather tricky. This is was a confidential
that's fine.
project.
It's confidential. Let's just leave it there.
Leave it there. It's fine. No problem.
It's protected under statute.
That's okay.
Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor, I think did you have a question, Commissioner May?
No, I'm good.
You made a motion, right?
Right.
Okay, do we have a second? Does
Second.
Commissioner May second? Okay. And we have a motion and a second. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll go down to the action items. And at this time, we will hear from our county manager with his budget message and presentation.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Make sure I got the. Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, members of the community. Tonight, I'm pleased to present the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget for Franklin County. This budget reflects
months of careful planning, collaboration, and thoughtful decision-making by our staff and leadership team. Throughout this process, we work diligently to balance physical responsibility with the growing needs of our community, prioritizing the retention of our dedicated workforce and making strategic investments in our facilities. Our employees are the backbone of the services we provide, and this budget recognizes the importance of supporting and retaining that talent in an increasingly competitive environment. At the same time, we have placed a strong emphasis on maintaining and improving facilities to ensure they remain safe, functional, and capable of serving our residents both now and in the future. This recommended budget represents a disciplined, forward-looking approach that positions Franklin County to continue delivering high-quality services while planning responsibly for the years ahead. The FY '27 reflects the commitment to maintaining conservative revenue estimates and responsible spending plans. Focus areas include technology-driven efficiencies, staff training, and long-term planning in response to population growth. Staff continue to work with our schools to find solutions that address long-term challenges while forecasting capital needs through active collaboration. One area the budget team placed particular emphasis on this year is the need to invest in additional resources into our facilities. As our county continues to grow and our offices are used intensively, it is critical that we proactively address the increased wear and tear that comes with that demand. I had them include the org chart. I just wanted to show this. There's been a great many changes over the last couple of years, and I want to make sure you saw this. It is in your budget books. I wanted to highlight the team that makes all this possible. While you commissioners make the decisions that shape our future, the staff are the one who carry out your decisions, and they do it well. With 25 departments making up more than 900 employees across the county, this is Franklin County. While this is a busy slide, I wanted to show several factors that make up the growth in Franklin County. We are one of the fastest growing counties in North Carolina. Our population is now well over 82,000 and projected to reach over 125,000 by 2045, up more than 32% since 2015. Our budget must always seek to address the impacts of this growth across all services. I want to bring your attention to one important number on this slide. 6 people a day move to Franklin County. 6 people. That number highlights what's happening in the county and what additional challenges we face in addressing that key stat. The FY '27 general fund budget is recommended at $137,700,799. This recommended budget will allow us to maintain and enhance key services while planning for future needs. There is no change to the tax rate of 15.5 cents per $100 of valuation. And 1 penny of tax equals $1,359,871. Staffing and vehicles, this recommendation is for 3 full-time positions to meet increasing service demands at a cost of $296,233. I'm also recommending 2 new vehicles for inspections at a cost of $96,000, and additionally 2 ambulances for EMS, 12 vehicles for Sheriff's Office that we will finance at a little over $2 million. These investments support operational efficiency, timely service delivery, and continued support for public safety. Employee compensation, our pay performance program enters its 3rd year and is moving well, and we'll continue to refine this as we move forward, but have received good feedback on this pay for performance program. This budget also includes a recommended 2.5% cost of living allowance that would be effective October 12th of 2026 for all employees. Again, this slide represents my commitment to supporting our current employees and provides recruitment incentives for any potential new employees. Another busy slide, but I thought it was important to emphasize this as we go about the work that's being done in Franklin County. This is a snapshot of facilities and maintenance responsibilities. I wanted to highlight the great responsibility our facilities department has in maintaining all of our buildings. Those numbers are here for your review. As you know, these buildings are spread out all over the county and require weekly, if not daily, maintenance visits. Thank you to our maintenance and housekeepers to keep all of this going. Moving into some of our fee schedule changes, I just will highlight a few of these. We are proposing several fee adjustments to reflect service cost and demands across various departments. Some of the highlighted areas are facility rentals, airport services, and planning and inspection fees. Another slide on our fees, some changes to our Parks and Rec, Sheriff's Office, planning inspections, as well as EMS. And one last slide, some updates to our fire marshals fees that have not been adjusted in some time. Here's the fire department tax rates with the requested changes for your review. I'll leave that up here just a second. Next is our public school funding. The FY26 budget recommends $33,522,436 in total support for Franklin County Public Schools. That is $33,092,333 for current local expense or operations budget, and $2,430,103 for capital outlay. This supports our commitment to public education and facility needs. And I'll just say thank you to both boards and all of the staff for the schools and county who worked hard to find a solution that both sides can support. More importantly, with new superintendent in place, I feel we are building some momentum to continue to find ways to address school needs in a fiscally responsible, purposeful manners. I look forward to the continued conversation and problem solving we will do over the coming years. Vance Granville Community College, the funding proposal is $389,168 with $369,168 for operations and $20,000 in capital improvements. We are working with Vance Granville to address some of their facility needs this year based on conversations with staff, and we'll continue to do that over the next couple of months. These are some of our capital projects. I wanted to give you a quick rundown of where we stand on several of our capital projects and investments as we move into the next fiscal year. Below are some projects as well as the expected completion dates. Our senior center, public utilities maintenance building, NOAA NACIS, and our new elevated tank at Mays Crossroad. I think we got a few more slides. Keep going there, James. Next is our judicial complex with an expected completion date of fall 2027, and that continues to move along really well. And I just want to give a quick thank you to our project managers who help keep us on track, Troy Powell and Jessica Hudson, Scott Hammerbacher, Assistant County Manager, to help where needed, and of course the department heads who provide the expertise on the needs for each project. So these are some of our recently completed projects over the last year. A number of projects we've been through, several EMS stations. The park has had many upgrades and openings, and I'll just call out Epsom Park has really been busy and has seen a lot of foot traffic in and out of there. So thank you. Our public utilities overview now serves 10,612 customers, up 2.8% from last year at this time. The recommended FY27 budget is $27,210,500, reflecting growth and system needs. Some of the utility rate changes are here for your review. Proposed rate changes will take effect with the September 2026 billing cycle. Those rates are available here in your budget books. These adjustments ensure continued funding for system maintenance and upgrades. I want to point out staff crunched the numbers and were able to provide a bit of a reduction on the upcoming rate increases, as well as a new low volume tier to address those customers whose usage falls below 1,000 gallons. Some additional public utility fees, a few changes to fees that either had not been adjusted in some time or reflect new fees that were previously not addressed. These adjustments help align service fees with actual cost. Public utility equipment requests. The FY27 budget includes one new position for public utilities and recommends $332,000 in equipment, including excavators, trailers, and several new technology tools for public utilities. Some of our capital projects, we are requesting
$1,325,000 in additional capital utility projects for next fiscal year. This includes upgrades to Old Liberty and our SCADA system, which is software to monitor all of our infrastructure. The solid waste budget for FY '27 is $7,007,904. The solid waste fees are moving from $110 to $125. Key investments include transfer station upgrades and additional trash compactor. Additionally, with the solid waste, we're investing $280,000 in additional capital utility projects next fiscal year. Those include transfer station upgrades and additional trash compactor. Our budget schedule, I'm asking for you to schedule a public hearing on May 18th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Portal for budget comments is currently available on the Finance Department page of the Franklin County website, and the comments will be shared with the board prior to the meeting. The FY '27 budget recommended and presentation will be available on the website. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our employees for the hard work and dedication. With all the changes we face in moving our community forward in a fiscally sound manner, our employees are mindful of budget constraints and continue to look for ways to improve service delivery. Staff's interaction with the public proves daily their sense of loyalty and commitment to Franklin County. I would also like to acknowledge assistance from all of our department directors and those staff members directly involved in the budget process. Special thanks to our assistant county managers, Scott Hammerbacher and David Bridle, Finance Director Jamie Holtzman, Human Resources and Risk Management Director Kelly Faulkner, for their dedication in developing, balancing, and piloting the recommended budget. On behalf of all of our employees, I'm honored to present this recommended budget to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners for FY '27, and I look forward to working with you to move the county forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it.
And thank you to all the staff and everyone who has worked on putting this budget together. And the commissioners will get a chance now to go through it. This is not an easy task. I did it for many years, putting it together for a department and looking at the county budget for many years. This is not easy. So I know how many hours y'all have put in and how much sweat you've put in. It's not an easy task to do this each year. So kudos to all of you, to everybody, Jamie, all of y'all. So Jamie works really hard on this. I do know she does. I know what she does on this too. So, does anybody want to ask any questions right now, or do we want to wait till the public hearing? Or when we do it on May the 18th, is y'all gonna wait and look over this? We have budget books that has been given to us with the pared down budget tonight, so we can always take this home and study it. And study each line item and know what it has in it. So,
I think I'd like a week or two to review it before I have any questions, so. just
Good.
on the record.
yes, I think so. So, do we need a motion to, okay, we're gonna, set a public hearing on May the 18th. That's the recommendation. Is that okay with everybody?
Motion to approve.
And- Okay, we have a motion and a second. And all approve, say aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? Okay. And the motion carries, and we will move on, and we'll be studying this budget for the next couple of weeks. Y'all have fun with it. Our next item is solid waste hauling contract, and Spencer Purnell, you're gonna present that for us, I think.
Good evening, Commissioners. Solid Waste Department put an RFP for the convenience site hauling contract. That is, we did have, after we had all the bids come in, we had four bidders to put in for the contract. The highest one being $821,621.10. And our lowest bidder was $517,024.93. And I'm here to ask you to consider awarding the trash hauling contract for the next 5-year term to the county manager and to the necessary contract and with the county attorney. And that's what we have.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Is it recommended that it goes to the lowest bidder? Is that what you're recommending?
Yes, sir.
Can you give me a little bit of insight into there's a big gap between 821 and 517. Where were the other ones? Just to kind of give me a frame of reference here.
The next closest bidder was within 15,000. That was $532,043.39. And then it went from there up to 688,002. So it's kind of a, the two lower bidders, which I don't know if I need to discuss who bid on those, but one of them's a larger company that was pretty close with the lower bidder. So, and that bidder is the lowest bidder is Trash Masters out of Franklinton. That's a smaller company. It would be around the same size as the company that's doing our hauling now.
And this contract for 5 years, is that per year, 517,000 each year?
Yes, that's correct.
Any other, go ahead.
What are we currently paying now? Is that a cost savings to
The current rate, what was budgeted for this upcoming year is $694,452. So that would be a savings, huge savings.
And the RFP went out in normal fashion and?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve the action requested.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Spencer.
And now it's time for our board and a merit manager and clerk's comments. I'm going to start out real quick by saying that I missed the last meeting. And because I missed the last meeting, evidently people wanted to start rumors that I was having health issues. I'm not having health issues. I don't have cancer because that was one of the rumors. So it's interesting how things carry. I was out of town during the last meeting, and that's why I was not here. So just to set the record straight, I wanted to do that. I'm going to call on our attorney, Ms. McCray, and I would like for her to begin by speaking about our water steps and the history of our water, since there's been a lot of talk and chatter about that. If you can kind of set us straight, we talked earlier today and put together some steps. So I want you to present that to us legally, if you can. And then also, I want you to speak on the Carter interlocal agreement, because there's been chatter about that also, and we need to set that straight between amongst us and everyone.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start by just giving you all a history of what Franklin County has done regarding the challenges of water. Most of this information can be found on the county website, and so it's been made available. But I think it's important that we kind of walk through that together as a group.
Ms. McCray, just to be sure so that now the audience can hear you, but if they want to go back and listen 3 or 4 times, if you would pull that microphone much closer to your mouth so it can be clear on record what is being said, and they can review it and hear it a couple times if necessary. Thank you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Is this sound better?
It does.
Okay, good. Sorry. And this information does bear out in county documentation, but the story of Franklin County's water begins really in 2006, when a water study was done, and it was identified that Franklin County was going to need about 1.5 million gallons per water per day by 2024. And that actually was a little bit below what actually was needed in 2024, because at that time we were needing in 2024 3 million gallons per day of water. There were additional reports done over the years, a 2008 report, a 2012 report, that really alerted the county to the shortage of water that we were going to have. So in 2017, the county took some very responsible steps to pass a water allocation ordinance in order to ration the water that the county had. And then in 2020, a comprehensive report was done, and it was published in November of 2020. And in that report, it really laid out all of the options that were available to Franklin County, and many of them were ruled out. One that often comes up is the dam, putting a dam on the Tar River or a side dam of the Tar River, and those are not feasible options. There is not enough flow in the water of Tar River in order to produce the water that the county needs. I know that that's been asked about. It was also noted in that report that was published in November of 2020 that in February of that year, a request had been made to Henderson asking for additional water, and by November of 2020, they still had not responded. There have been many informal and formal requests of water of all surrounding entities that have water. Franklin County currently gets water from the town of Lewisburg, mostly from Henderson. Henderson is our primary source of water. Henderson is a 60% shareholder in the Carr Lake Regional Water System. This is where Franklin County gets most of its water, but it also gets additional water from the town of Lewisburg, from the city of Raleigh, as well as a very, very small water system that the county owns. The county's been researching this issue. In February of 2025, an engineering study was done in order to determine what it would cost to just lay the pipe that's necessary for the county to receive the water that it needs.
What lake are you talking about?
It's from Vance County line to Franklin County.
Oh, okay.
And that pipe alone, and this was in 2025, so those dollar numbers have probably changed, is $78 million, almost $79 million it would have cost to do that. There are documentations of in 2024 and 2025 where either the county staff or your public utilities attorney, Jim Sheedy, had reached out to Henderson asking for water, and there was through the Carr Lake Regional Water System, and that was not given a positive response to the county in order to get that additional water. So in April of 2025, that is when the county, through your public utilities attorney, let Henderson know that they would be looking for water from other sources. And June of 2025 is when the letter of intent was sent to the Army Corps of Engineers asking for an reallocation study. That is just a study that's done by the federal government to determine whether or not it is feasible to obtain additional water from Carr Lake. And then finally, in August of 2025, a memorandum of agreement was signed with the Army Corps of Engineers in order to do that study. That was the allocation fund. The funds that the county used was $2 million of public utility funds, which is enterprise funds, not taxpayer dollars. And that was all done in a public agenda for all of the people in Franklin County to see. It's important to note a couple of things. There is a rapid growth in Franklin County that's outpacing our water supply, and it's something that we've known for some time. Our Franklin County's population is going to double by 2060, and it's possible based on that our water needs are going to triple by 2075. And right now, our industries, our industrial employers, our industry, they are the ones that make up the large share of the water usage, and they are also the people who employ our citizens and our neighboring county citizens. And Franklin County doesn't control its water. We need water from outside sources if we can't get it ourselves. And currently, Carr Lake Regional Water System has a hard cap on the amount of water that it can provide based on what its current state is, and it will not meet the county's long-term water needs. Hundreds of millions of dollars are going to need to be spent, tens of millions of dollars, not hundreds of millions, but tens of millions of dollars are going to need to be spent in order to improve that system in order to meet the needs for Franklin County. But even those dollars may not meet Franklin County's and the region's long-term water needs. Now, I did want to clear up a couple of things that I've seen that's out there. I know that people have commented about they think Franklin County is trying to take water from other counties, and I just wanted to clear up from a legal perspective what Carr Lake is. Carr Lake is a federal property. The United States Army Corps of Engineers owns and manages it on behalf of all American citizens. It is actually one of the largest reservoirs in the country. This is a public resource. Water supply for growing communities is one of its explicitly authorized purposes, and Franklin County has not taken that from them. The county is actually only asking for 1% of its conservation pool. This is a conservation pool that holds approximately 336 billion gallons of water. The entire lake is around 500 billion gallons of water, and it is constantly being refilled by a watershed of 8,000 square miles of watershed that's going into that lake.
Ms. McRae, can you qualify that was 500 billion?
Yes.
I thought I heard M a little bit, so I want to be very sure because there's a big difference between millions and billions.
Yes.
500 billion.
500 billion gallons of water. And it just as an analogy of what Franklin County is asking for of 1% of the conservation pool is imagine an Olympic swimming pool that's constantly being refilled with a fire hose. We're asking for a cup of that water. That gives you an idea of just the amount of water. And I know there's a lot of questions about what Franklin County is trying to do. This study that the Army Corps of Engineers is doing, which is a 2-year study, they are going to be looking at all of the questions that have been asked to determine whether it's going to be sustainable, where the lake can continue to do all that it is supposed to be doing. And the only other thing that I would say is that Franklin County really only has the ability to manage growth. I know that there has been a lot of talk about stopping the growth, and the Franklin County can't actually stop growth because of the way ownership and land works. We can manage growth, and the huge step that the county took in 2017 to allocate water is one of those steps that we took to help manage growth in the county. So that's all that I wanted to update you all on to make sure you understood the history of our search for water, and if I'll answer any questions that you might have that I know.
Okay.
I think that that's an important statement that that we are managing the growth and the subdivisions and the industry that come in Franklin County by the water allocations, because you have to have an allocation of water before you can build in Franklin County. And we do look at that. They meet several times a year, and I've been to those meetings with the allocations, and the subdivisions or whatever, whoever's building has to be allocated the water in order to build. So we are managing the growth by doing that. That's an important statement. Thank you. That was a very good report.
Okay, I have questions too.
Okay.
Okay, what are the other places that we get water from? It's not just Henderson.
Correct. It's
Okay.
the town of Lewisburg
Okay.
and the city of Raleigh.
Okay.
And
How
then we have a
millions
reservoir.
of gallons, what is the rate they're giving us? Or how many gallons per day?
And I don't know if that I can answer that, but Mr. Preble might be able to.
Lewisburg is 650.
650,000 gallons per day.
Yes, sir. And Raleigh is now 800.
Okay.
And we do about 500 to 600. I don't know, Chris, 500 or 600 at ours.
So,
at Franklinton?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And how much are we getting now from Henderson?
3.1.
3.1. And how many years is left on that contract?
Yeah, 2038.
2038.
Yes, sir, when that contract, well, in 2020, actually, the end of this year is when it'll drop back down to 3 million gallons per day, if we don't get another agreement.
I couldn't help but notice that one from the town of Lewisburg. You know where they get their water from?
Same place, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me speak to that just for clarity for everybody too. So talking about the Char River, there is water flowing through there, but because there's water being taken out at one point, and then there's discharges where human beings or entities that are authorized to put treated wastewater back in, you can't go right in behind where they put treated wastewater back in and suck out water to go get treated again. It's got to flow through Mother Nature for a certain distance of time. And until you take Lewisburg's allotted, they've been given a certain amount of water they can take from that river into the calculation, and who's putting discharged water in, and who's putting discharged water in, what's left is almost nothing. Maybe, according to the engineers, this is not my math, this is from our consulting engineers and what they've done in their analysis, that there may be 1 million gallons of water would be all we could get out of the Tar River, and it would be as far close to the county line past Bunn is where we could possibly get it. But it's not enough to chase. And that's because Lewisburg has gotten the bulk of it and been given the authority for many years. I don't know when they were vested the authority to take that water out, but they have got the bulk of it, of what's left in Franklin County. So, and I believe Lewisburg has the legal ability to take a couple million gallons a day, but their infrastructure, their plant, is not capable of taking producing a certain amount. They'd have to upgrade their plant and spend a lot of money upgrading it. And then I believe they'd also start to have doing like around the clock, run it around the clock. Right now, I think it's only maybe ran a half a day, like 12 hours on, 12 hours on.
Maybe that's something we could maybe check with them on helping them with.
So that has actually been had a conversation about a couple times with the city of Lewisburg over the last at least 2 years.
And what they say?
We just recently got a little bit extra water from them. I can let Mr. Preble speak to. It didn't used to be 650. It used to be maybe closer to 350 or 400, I believe.
No, we're at 650. Still working through the details of the additional water. So
Okay.
650 is where
650
we are.
has been our
where we have
number.
been. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. So I think it's just important to go on record so that everybody understands and you hear it here as well. That's why the Tar River is just not an option, because there's other things that are happening above and below us, and then Lewisburg taking out in the middle. So that's, and I guess I should say the theory of a study from engineers from back in the early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s about doing impoundments. That was looked at too by current engineering firms that we're working with, and they both confirmed that you can catch the water. There's no question that you could catch it, you could trap it. But the problem is, like we're going through a drought now, there'd be nothing there now. So you can't depend on that pool of water during times like this. So if we trap that water and count on it every day, and then we get times like this, it's not there, that we can't count on it. So we've got to get water and invest money and resources into going where it's guaranteed that it's there, not where we could trap it for a season and another season it won't be there. So doing impoundments, while they would work for the purpose of impounding water, catching water and creating a basin of water, they would not be sustainable day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, to be guaranteed to have enough water there all the time that we could pull from it. That makes sense.
Well, all I can say, take a look at Falls Lake. That's what they did.
Yeah, I mean,
the Neuse River itself is
yeah.
a slow river, just like Tar River, but by impoundment or a dam.
Well, they did. Well, different. What I mean differently, when I say impoundment, folks, I'm not talking about a dam that I'm talking about creating this little reservoir thing, not a dam like Carr Lake or Falls Lake, because you have to have a river running, like you talked about the river. You have to have those rivers running in order to build the dam to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, if it's just watershed water that there's no river there or it's well running, it's one soda out of a big old cooler, and that's it. It just won't. It's not going to give you any more. So, all right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Let me say something to you. Being raised on the farm, you watch a pond fill up, you know, get rid of overflow. You got runarounds and stuff that hope that keeps the dams and stuff from breaking. I guarantee you, as a kid growing up, Curly Lake always held about 300 foot, if I'm not mistaken. I guarantee you, they got runarounds and they're losing enough water every day. Probably will take care of Franklin County. But you know
I'd
what?
agree with you.
Yeah, right.
You let your wife not have no water, boy, you got some long lips.
You're right. Commissioner May, that's true. Any other questions about the water situation? Very good report. That was very good. Thank you so much for that. All right, now I want you to speak also on the interlocal agreement, because that's another issue that's been causing problems.
Yes, so I just want to give you guys a background of the Cartar Regional Economic Development Corporation. We say KTREDC is how we say that here. This was created as a regional economic development initiative involving Franklin, Vance, Warren, and Granville counties. And the purpose of this project, which is now about 20 years old, is to develop industrial sites in each county to attract investment to the region. Currently, Franklin County is the only county of the 4 counties that has sold land that generates revenue for the KTREDC. And this just is based on the information that has been provided to the county. In 2007, Franklin County acquired approximately 252 acres near Franklin Airport and sold that land to the KTREDC. And that's part of this development effort and to fulfill part of our obligations under that interlocal agreement. That was sold to them for $5,054,340. The KTREDC agreed to make payments to Franklin County as the land was sold or developed. There is a current balance owed to Franklin County as of August of 2025 of $3,570,545.86. And that note matures on.
And I'm sorry, Gina, real quick. What year did this start?
This started in 2000, well, technically under 2006, but we bought the land in 2007. So this is a 20-year agreement.
And the agreement started in 2007.
The original agreement was 2006. We
Okay.
bought the land in 2007.
And the balance is what still? 20 years later?
20 years later, $3,570,545 and some change.
Okay.
And that it becomes mature. That note matures August 1st of 2027.
All right. Thank you.
And
And who has to pay that?
Cartar owes Franklin County that money.
And that is all 4 counties.
Yes, well, that is a,
Granville,
yeah,
Vance, Warren, and Franklin.
yes,
Owe the $3 million to Franklin County.
that's correct.
So they're not paying their bill? I believe
It's
one of
not
the
due.
comments that
It's
was
not
made
due
at
to the-
another
I know,
meeting
it
somewhere.
is, that money is not due to
Oh.
the county until next year.
It's due
So-
next summer.
It's not due till
And
next
there's no
year.
revenue coming in to support the ability to pay that when it comes due.
It is important to note that in 20 years, Franklin County is the only county of the 4 counties that has a part that's being sold.
Can you say that again?
That Franklin County is the only county of the 4 counties that has a part that is being sold, that we're selling land.
So the other 3 did not uphold their agreement to sell land?
I'm sure they dispute that, but that would be something that the county
The
would,
road up there isn't like it is down here.
They've been unsuccessful in selling land.
yes, I think they would, yes. I think it has been, the revenue that's been generated for the last 20 years has come from Franklin County.
And that revenue, we have generated the revenue, and where did that go?
To the Cartar Regional.
So we
Cartar
we
account.
made payments,
We have made payments on our property tax, our real property taxes, yes.
okay, so we make payments to the Cartar, which is the 4 counties.
Yeah, they are all part of that development
So
corporation.
those payments go to each county.
Yes, it is then
So we
divided,
make payments to the other counties.
Yes,
I
it's
just want that
divided,
clear.
that's right, it is the income that is generated is divided between the 4 counties.
All right. Every month or every year?
I'm not exactly sure how that's paid.
Okay.
It's what? Annually,
Yearly.
annually.
Okay. And we've been doing that since when?
Well, when we sold the first land, the first property, was in 2008.
Okay, so we've been paying it since 2008. About how much payment is that? Just out of curiosity. Jamie, do you have that number?
No, we can get that for you and
It's
figure
in
out.
the thousands. It's what?
Not to put you on the
That-
spot.
I'm trying.
But
I'm-
are we talking about $1 million? Are we talking about $100,000? We're talking about $50,000? What? We're
Okay.
talking 300,000 or 400,000 or 600,000 or 800,000.
Per county.
Okay. Fair.
Less
That's all-
than
that's all.
500,000.
She's gonna.
Is that
She's gonna.
per county? She's gonna look it up right now. She's
But I
having
think it's
her
important.
trusty commute.
I think it's important for the public to hear this information
Yes,
from us because that's not what they're hearing from others.
right, that we're making payments.
And
to each of the
hopefully, I
counties.
can't remember who it was. I can't remember, but I hope that once you hear this, you can begin to maybe lean into my request of a little bit of trust that we're not just maliciously and vengefully doing things. That there, I promise you, there's a little bit of why behind it. We may not agree about the why, but at least there's a why and not nothing.
So all the facts
So-
are not always being reported. And we're trying to report facts. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's all that I had, unless you had additional questions
Okay.
that maybe.
I have one. I believe it was Mr. Wilder mentioned something about the commissioner from Granville County. And he stated something about $800,000 that we had not paid or we had not owed. We owed and we had not paid. Is that true?
There is a calculation for personal property tax in that amount. There was a question at some point, prior leadership, about whether or not the county actually owed the taxes related to the personal property tax. So the county's been paying of the real property tax, but the personal property tax, from the Cartar's perspective, is that we have owed that money.
Okay, so we've been making payments on the tax on the buildings and the
Yes,
land
the real property
values.
tax, yes.
But the businesses that have equipment in them or desk and computers, all those things are considered business personal property.
Correct.
And that is taxed separately. So we've been making the taxes on the building and the land, but we've not been making the payments on the personal property that's within those structures or sit on those structures.
Correct. And although it is a separate issue, the note is coming due. It is a separate issue that their note is coming due in 2027. The amount that is owed to the county exceeds that amount.
So roughly the county is looking at a payment to be rendered next summer, late summer sometime, of about 3.5 million.
To
That
Franklin
is,
County.
that is
Yes.
owed by
The
owed by Cartar Region EDC, which involves 4 counties, ourselves, Granville, Vance, and Warren counties.
That's right.
So that means each one of the counties would be obligated to participate or give 25% of that 3.5.
Well, I mean,
So we would owe we'd own 25% of 3.5 million. Just follow me. And everybody else would own 25%,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
So 25% of 3.5 million, about $800,000. Roughly, just a pinch over $800,000.
Well,
So follow me. I'm not asking you to qualify.
okay, don't ask me.
So follow me. So if we owe, if we're sitting here with an $800,000 check, that is being said we should be writing. But come next year this time, 3 other counties need to write a check for $800,000 each
To us.
that comes to us. Then we're just holding the portion that we're going to have to pay ourselves back in 12 months.
Fine.
We're holding it back because it's ours anyway, randomly speaking. Because what's the chances that the incorporation that involves the 4 counties that doesn't have any income coming in because these other parks have not been successful in selling the land and building ad valorem taxes, which is building and land taxes, and then business personal property taxes to contribute back to the team, are going to be able to pay Franklin County back. To me, it seems logical to hold what is ultimately in 12 months going to be Franklin County's and hope that the other payments are going to be paid. We got to trust. We do. Because we made the agreement and we're walking together. And we agreed to make this agreement and walk together. We got to trust. So I'm not saying they can't pay it. But maybe this will help you understand why we haven't paid a bill that's just going to be flipped back to us in 12, 15 months.
And I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe 1 or 2 or some of the other counties have gifted land to Vance Granville Community College in their portions of land they're supposed to be developing like we've developed our land. Is that true?
It is true that the Development Corporation did vote to transfer some of the industrial park that was supposed to be sold to generate that revenue to a non-revenue generating entity, which is the Vance Granville Community College.
And do you know what counties they were, or county? Do you know what county?
I believe it's Warren.
Warren,
Warren
and Granville. Warren and Granville, yes.
So they've gifted land that will not generate any revenue
It will not generate
of
revenue.
this land.
Did Franklin
Yes.
County consent to that?
So we have members of our board, we have appointees to the board. And I'm not sure how they voted, but this board is made up of appointees from each of the 4 counties. So it would have had to have been a majority rule of the board to pass that.
Who's the representative from Franklin County?
Commissioner Speed has been the representative for what, last year and the year before, and I was put on it this year.
We have 2 more,
So-
which is,
You have 2 non-county
Shane
commissioners.
and who's the other?
Shane
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Keith Smith
Keith
and Shane,
Smith.
Keith
Shane
Smith
Mitchell.
and Shane Mitchell.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for giving a great deal of information on these 2 topics, and I hope this has clarified what we've been going through and clarified and given you facts of what's been happening in Franklin County that we've been having so much commotion about on the internet and everywhere else, and people talking to us. So I hope this clarifies a lot of that. And we're open for if you talk to us on the street or talk to us and any more, if you wanted to ask any more questions, I'm sure we'll tell you what we can on it. So we're going to start with our, and continue with our comments. And I'm going to start with you, Commissioner May, this time.
I got no comments tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Speed
No comments tonight.
and Commissioner Bunn.
I have a few comments. I would like to thank staff for putting these facts together and getting them out to the public, which is very important. And I also want to send my condolences to the Pierce family. You know, Danny was a good guy. I've known him in excess of 25 years, and he's always been around. He'll be surely missed. That's all I have.
And Commissioner Boyd.
Commissioner, okay. First comment I have is in regards to the water line, the proposed water line going to Kerr Lake. I signed a statement last week of my support for that water line, but I wrote right behind it, I do not support the taking of land or condemning of land. The water line, yes, but putting the straw in wherever that's at, I do not support taking land or condemning. But the water line, I do support. My other item of business, the last Thursday of this month is a fun day in the park for the senior citizens. It's probably about our 32nd, 33rd event. It won't be at Riverbend Park, I hate to say. It's going to be in the Joyner Park.
Oh, okay.
And I am squeaking out some more utility trailers, and I will be having one of those to raffle off to a senior citizen. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it a little short here, but I did want to commend the county staff for the budget, and they worked really, really hard. You guys, obviously rightfully so, right? Don't get to see a lot of the day-to-day working on this, but Mr. Preble and his staff, they put a lot of hours into this. This was not an easy budget for him this year. And obviously we have a lot of reviewing to do to this. But I think what's kind of important is that Mr. Preble, and then, his staff, and then the board up here are very, very keen on not raising taxes on anybody. Obviously, that's the number one thing. But just making a balanced budget, and how hard that is in a county that's growing as fast as we are. What people don't understand a lot of times are the requirements to meet that growth and meet that need. And it doesn't always equate that property taxes or ad valorem taxes or revenue matches that. Just down to, you look at, the sheriff's department and needing the cars that they need to patrol, the EMS with, the paramedics and the EMTs and the ambulances that are needed there, infrastructure and all of those things. It is incredibly difficult. It's a blessing when you have a county that is growing, in my opinion. That's just me. But it's also very challenging to get a budget that balances, where we're being fiscally responsible, where taxes are kept low. And they've done a really, really good job at that. And so you're looking at a healthy county. You're looking at a county that's fiscally responsible, fiscally sound. And to be honest with you, above all things of county government, that's huge, top of the list. So well done. We've talked a lot. You've talked with everybody quite a bit, been in a lot of meetings, and it's good. So I just want to give that out there to the public, because I think it's super, super important that this is going to be pretty fiscally sound here, and I'm excited about that.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
You're welcome.
And Commissioner Shriver, do you have any remarks?
Yes, thank you. I agree with, like everybody else here on the board. It's good that this information was brought forward. I think it's helpful. Hope it's helpful to you all in the room that have commented and been concerned about it. I think it's important to continue to trust. You can badger me if you want to. It's fine, but we need to trust each other. Sit down and talk with me. I'll tell you what I knew of what they told you tonight. There's no need to keep secrets. There's nothing that we're doing that's horrible or despicable or intentionally immoral or illegal. We're trying to do the best we can with the situation we have at hand, and we're trying to be smart about protecting the hard-earned dollars of the people that put money in this kitty, in this county. And I think if we're doing anything less than that, we wouldn't be serving. We wouldn't be serving the role that we're here to serve. I did not know that the county was going to have quite a bit of this information tonight, so I'm thankful for that. I prepared to the best of my ability what I knew about tonight and the questions that have been asked, and I feel like that's been well covered. I do think there are a few thoughts that I have here that I think are maybe have not been shared tonight, so I'm going to try and just skim through the pieces that are here that I think are important, and that have not been shared tonight, more importantly. Stewardship, not ownership. Stewardship, not ownership of water, is biblical. The Bible frames natural resources, especially water, as a divine gift belonging to God, rather than private property, emphasizing humans' role as stewards responsible for the equitable access and care of that resource. This direction from God is clearly seen in Genesis 1, where God grants humanity dominion over the earth. Not as a right, but as a mandate to manage that natural resource and to do good with it for the better welfare of human beings. And so public water should not be a possession of any county or any group of people. Carr Lake Dam, for those of you who do not know, was not created for drinking water. It was created to protect people's homes and farms from flooding from Virginia to the Albemarle Sound. The Roanoke River feeds the Carr Lake Reservoir, and the Roanoke River begins in southwest Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. It's a long trek, and those valleys and those mountains create this enormous bowl that when rain comes, the water rushes down and it finds the creeks, which finds the rivers, which finds Carr Lake, which finds eastern North Carolina, which finds the Albemarle Sound. There is no way any of us can refute that as the truth, because we all have sit and watched our fellow statesmen during the time of Helene here recently, just last year. It's real. One of the things, they teach us many things in the Marine Corps, but one of the most profound things that I could not appreciate, but to this day I do, they taught us never, ever underestimate the power of water. And I could not appreciate that as a young Marine. But as I've gotten older, it makes sense to me now. So Carr Lake Dam was created and built by the federal government. It was built in the early 1950s. It is located just inside the state of Virginia. I thoroughly enjoy Carr Lake. I love to go there. My family's recreated there. We camp, we fish, we do it all. And we have done it all for many, many years. The goal was first to protect people. Then from that, they realized they could help people. And they could create hydroelectric electricity. So, there's no reason why Franklin County should not ask the federal government and the United States Army Corps of Engineers for the permission to have water on Carr Lake. They are the authority. They are the government that regulates, manages, and keeps up that lake. They are the people we should trust because they are the skilled professionals, and that is their bailiwick. They know math, they know the water, and they know that impoundment. Some will argue that we should not go there at all. And I would submit to you that over the last 20 years, as you have heard tonight, just you got the sprinkles on top of Grandma's 10-layer cake tonight of information. But this county has been working on the ability to get water and to work with our neighboring regions for over 20 years. 20 years is a long time. You talk about being responsible and knowing that you've got to plan long term. Folks, 20 years is a long time. It is long term. And we have been planning short term, which I'll get to here shortly, in the last 5 to 7 years. I would like to speak briefly to this fear that has been put in the hearts of people. That for some reason, some way, that if, however, Franklin County gets a cup of water a day from Carr Lake, thank you for that analogy, somehow people's lives are going to be gravely impacted. That somehow someone's not going to have nourishment that day, or that their roof is no longer going to be there when they come home, or the world's going to fall in. There's no data that supports that being the case. None. How can I say that? Well, when this all came up, and in the last 4 or 5 days, I started going online and looking for resources, information. I looked at the Army Corps of Engineers, found some data, different things like that. I trust that data. That's their job. They're supposed to be the ones that are there. So I trust in that. And here's what I found. They said the average amount of annual flow either through the dam to create electricity or over the dam for whatever the reasons are that they let it over the dam. One is to regulate Gaston Lake because they are required to do that. Between 7,000 and 10,000 cubic feet per second. Raise your hand if you know what that means, because you are, yeah, our water guy. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what that means. So I dug deeper. What is how do we figure out to get this thing to gallons? Everybody knows what a gallon is. We've been living on gallons all our life, right? And so what I found was, in digging a little bit deeper, is that a cubic foot per second equals, well, let me go back. I apologize. I'm going to skip over that. So you do when you find what a cubic foot per second equals, and I got two different numbers from two different sources. One was 6.22 and one was 7.48. Okay, we'll call it 7. You know, split hairs. The point of it is when you do the math on that number for the annual water flow in gallons, the annual water flow that goes through the dam or over the dam is 228 billion gallons. 228 billion annually. Now, I read one place where they stated that it could be as much as 35,000 cubic feet per second. Well, I didn't even try to calculate that number. But 28 billion gallons go over that dam or through that dam every year. I believe our counselor told us, our attorney told us that it's roughly 500 billion gallons of water in Carr Lake. They've calculated roughly for round numbers purposes. And that the lake is divided, the Corps of Engineers divides the lake. This is the lake, how deep it is. The top of the water surface is at the very bottom. They drew like a line here and a big spot in the middle and a little rectangle across the top. And the middle was the conservation pool. This is the area that they manage for the purpose of drinking water. And that was 337 million gallons. Billion, thank you, billion, gosh, billion gallons. All right, so stick with me. We got 500 billion gallons of water sitting there. 228 of it goes out, which is just a little under half, right? 250 billion gallons would be half of 500 billion. Almost half of it every year goes out. Mother Nature and the good Lord above replaces it every year. Every year it's come back. For as long as they've ran that dam, you've got this balance. So that's wonderful. Those are big numbers. Let's put this into equation, kind of like you had mentioned with a cup. This was my analogy. Again, you go back to that 8,500, which is the average between 7,000 and 10,000. 8,500. And you times it by that gallons. What a gallon is per cubic cubic foot per second is equal to those gallons. And you come out, if you take that second and times it by 60 seconds, so we get to 1 minute, because we all know 1 minute's about that long, right? So we were looking at 1 minute. It's 3.8 million gallons of water in 1 minute. On average of 365 days a year goes through that dam or over that dam. Now, how many people know how many minutes there are in a day? I did that math, don't worry. 1,440 minutes in one day. 1,440 minutes. And Franklin County is asking for 4 minutes of that time. 4 minutes. That's all Franklin County is asking for. No one's going to perish. Nothing bad is going to happen in anybody's lives for 4 minutes. With all the information that's been shared tonight and the research that I've done and the knowledge that I have of this topic, I continue to support Franklin County in this goal. I believe it's important. It is a long plan. We have been working on it, and we have taken short-term measures. That's why we have water from Lewisburg. That's why we have water from Raleigh. That's why we've done a few little improvements at our water plant over on the other side of Franklinton. So we can increase our water and have more water because we can't get it from anywhere else. So our short-term game has been short-term water. And our long-term gain is water independence. Why is this important to a region? We've talked about it. For me, the biggest thing is economic opportunity for the county, which means jobs. So my children and my grandchildren can work here, live here, and play here. Instead of driving 45 minutes that way, 45 minutes that way, 35 minutes to Wilson, they can be at home. And I can enjoy my children here instead of them being somewhere else. One of my children is here and the other one is not here. And I don't know if she's coming back, but I'd love for her to come back one day. So, these are the facts. You don't have to believe me, but I'm still going to continue to ask you to trust me. And if you'll call me and reach out to me, I'll talk to you. I've met people for a biscuit at Bojangles. I've met people for a cup of coffee. I'm always willing to try and do that. And I'll share with you what I know. You have to trust leadership. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with everything they do. But if you start working with them and seeking out their reason for their inputs instead of other people's opinions of why. Notice that I didn't comment on why Granville County made their comment. Because I could have, but I didn't. None of my business. And I'm going to respect them. They're leaders of their community. I think that not only am I always here to talk to people and have a cup of coffee or a biscuit, but I don't think there's anybody that can sit behind this podium that's not willing to do the same. So I close with saying this, folks. If you have questions, go to the source. Not just me. In your personal lives, if you're upset with somebody, what do? You go to that person and say, hey, man, we need to talk. Because until you talk, the problem's not going to go away. It just tends to get bigger. Our doors are open. I know mine certainly is. And I'll continue to serve that way for as long as I'm willing to be able to be here. Madam Chairman, I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hadn't planned to make these comments, but I will, just to be real short. You know, every story, there's usually more to it. And we tend to take things by face value of what we hear, and there's always something else or more to it. And in this case, with everything that's come out, or a lot of stuff that's come out, there's more to the story. For example, and I've just realized these things, and it's hard to remember to tell everything and say everything because there's so many parts to everything. We're not the only county who has this type of authority that we were seeking in the 214 bill. There are 12 other counties that already do that and already got that approved in their counties. So we're not the first, and we probably are not going to be the last. There's more to every story. The other part to this is we talk about condemning. Condemning doesn't mean that we're going to take a property. It means that we're going to pay somebody for the property. In this case, you know, we're thinking, okay, we're going to condemn property. We're going to go and condemn everybody's land from here to wherever in another county or whatever. In this case, we're looking at just a very small sliver that we may have to talk to somebody about. We're not talking about miles and miles or acres that we're looking at condemning. It's possible that we're not even sure that we're going to have to do this. We put this in just in case we do, because we don't know for sure But if we do, it could be just a very small sliver. You know, that somebody's probably going to be paid well, really a lot for us. So just think about, trust us, just like Michael said, trust us, because there's more to every story, and there's more to each of these stories that have been going out for the last few weeks. And y'all take it for the word, and it's not. There's so much more to it. And we all study this and look at it, and we kind of know what the more to every story is. Anyway, as a commissioner, I've done a lot this month. I've been to the health board meeting. I've been to Mariah Parham Hospital meeting. I've been to the town board meeting. I've attended a lot of stuff. I've been to the business after 5 at the Franklinton Town Board, when I say town board meeting. And Franklinton has started its first Fridays in Franklinton. It had one last week. So the first Friday in each month, except for July, they'll have all the vendors, all the food trucks, and everybody out in Franklinton. So you don't need to go to that. And being chair, I meet a lot with this guy. We have become really close. We talk almost daily, if not several times daily, and for hours. And I go to his office and sit half a days at a time when we've got issues going on. So I've meeting a lot with Ryan. So, and okay. I'm going to ask our attorney if you had any comments, because I did not ask you. I asked you specifically for the first comments. Now, do you have anything just to say? Okay, sure. I think we're all sad to hear it. Okay. And Madam Clerk.
Lights come.
Remind the board of May 18th, again at 6 o'clock, will be our budget public hearing. And then the board has been asked to schedule the meeting for the Board of Equalization and Review. So the plan for that is going to be June 1st, starting at 4 o'clock. And then we'll have our regular commissioner meeting on June 1st at 6.
Okay, June 1st.
June 1st at 4 o'clock for the Board of Equalization and Review. And then we have our regular meeting at 6.
Okay, 2 ahead. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ahead of the meeting. Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. And I think Commissioner Shriver had one more thing to say.
Yes, thank you, because it was your fault, because you said when you think about something, you forget about it, then you wish you would.
Exactly.
Another one that seems to, it's kind of behind us now a little bit, I think, but the judicial complex. We're not doing that because we sat around and decided one day we thought we should do that. It's mandated by the state. And the judges, the Superior Court judges, determine that timeline, and based on what they see as the need of the courts, their needs of the courts. They worked with us diligently, because this kind of came up right when COVID hit and prices went and everything became very chaotic. And so we were able to kind of tighten things and make some things work that were failing, and creating some security issues and some safety issues for staff and counsel there. Until we could get to this point. But that is a function under the law of the state of North Carolina, that counties are responsible for court buildings, just like we are for schools. And so this is not something that we're doing because we just thought it'd be cool. We're doing it because we're being required to do it. And we're thankful that the courts did not make us do it back in COVID, because they could have. They could have pressed that button and said, no, you will go now, and you will go quickly. But they were gracious, and we are grateful for their graciousness. But that being said, again, not something we chose to do. It is necessary, and let me say this, when we looked at the design of it and we started the process, you'll notice that this building is not single story like many county buildings today, including the one we're sitting in now. It is multi-storied, because that's my bailiwick, a commercial general contractor. I know it's cheaper to build up than it is to build out. So we started the process of building up. And what we realized is if we went one more floor, that could be a generational building that could serve into the future, not just for what's today. So we created that concept with the understanding that we can morph that into future needs that may not be what are needed today, but we'd have the capacity under the roof to do that at a later time. So, and this is going to sound crazy, but again, I'm going to tell you this because you all aren't going to believe me. I learned this part about down the road from the city of Henderson. I used to live there as a young person out of the Marine Corps. And I look back when they built the police department and they built that other building. It's called the Gregory Building or something like that. It's right next door to it. And there's a huge library, two beautiful buildings. I'm like, what in the thunder are they doing building all that? Well, just like Marine Corps told me about water, and today I figured it out. They told me it was a generational building. It was built to last 100 years, to serve for 100 years. And that's what we're doing with this courthouse. That was our intention, is to create the space necessary to grow it at a minimal cost in the future versus having to find more ground to build it somewhere else and be a lot more cost. So the judicial center, that is my understanding and my experience of being in this role and what I learned through that time working through that process. And so I thank you for the opportunity to make that public so that the public is aware.
Sure.
And again, these are all things you can learn with Coffee with a Commish.
That's right. And I believe that they did that because of safety. That was one of the issues.
Safety was a big-
They were concerned about safety.
But there's also a lot more demand on the courts, and there wasn't the
Yes.
room and the building space. Kind of like the county has grown,
Right.
but there's not anything there to.
They
Make it
came
all
to
come
us and said, you have to do this because, and they gave us reasons. And so that's why we did that. Okay?
Thank you.
So I believe our county manager is last.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. I just want to express my condolences to the Danny Pierce's family. Had some good stories with Ms. Pierce, and he will be missed. And one last thank you to all our staff for all the efforts in getting the budget together. This has been I'll just say hectic last couple of weeks, but I certainly appreciate all their efforts, no matter what part you took in that. It was certainly appreciated, so thank you.
Okay, and last on our agenda is item 6, closed session. The board is asked to enter into closed session pursuant to the following North Carolina general statute. Here we go. NCGS 143-318.11A3 attorney-client privileged communication. NCGS 143-318.11A4 industry economic development. And lastly, NCGS 143-318.11A5 real property purchase contracts and leases. Do I hear a motion that we go into to closed session?
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
Second.
And does everyone approve, say aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
You should make a rule if you don't.